Hi Leos, welcome to Tarot in the Dark. My name is Tori. Tonight we're going to take a look at the upcoming week of December 29th through the 4th of January. This is the first week of the year and how exciting. I was hearing for you that you have been basically showing extreme strength and courage in regards to something in your life. It's almost like it's an unraveling, and there's this week strong energy of you finally being able to gain clarity in regards to something. Okay, it feels like you're having like an epiphany this week, or something comes through that kind of shifts the atmosphere for you. It feels very powerful. It feels very enduring, like you've been suffering for a long time in regards to a specific area of your life, and I'm seeing that come through and clear itself out for you this week. So this feels very, very, very powerful. I'm energetically picking up on this. None of the cards are showing. I haven't even pulled anything yet, so let's dig in and just see what Spirit says. Okay, so this reading is going to be a little different than my others. I'm going to pull one oracle card, two tarot cards, and then we are going to, yeah, look at that. And then this passion card was trying to peep through too, which that passion card absolutely is your energy. Look at this coherence at the bottom of the deck. This is being able to actually bring into harmony the desires of your heart and your mind, and that's that King of Swords energy there. With this solar plexus energy, what I'm picking up on right away is that there's a powerhouse within. Okay, there's a powerhouse within you that has been being reconstructed, is what I'm hearing. So for some of you, you could have lost your passion, you could have lost your zeal for life, lost the excitement. Something could have happened that I'm hearing it buried you. Okay, that's very interesting. Spirit is showing me like a tombstone, but it's been like covered up with something, like in another, not in the States. We don't bury people like that in this fashion that is being shown to me. But what's being shown is that there's a tombstone, and the tombstone is embedded in another like box. Also made of stone. You guys will notice that my throat chakra is very irritated in this moment. So it's interesting to me because that's what this feels very much connected to the reading, and I'll tell you why. As soon as I sat down to start your reading, so first of all, I was driving home and I kept hearing Leos. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start the Leo reading when I get home. Then when I come in, I start the reading. I'm perfectly fine. I made some tea and I got some water. Natural things that I do before I start readings just to ensure that I'm, well, saturated in my throat, so I'm not scratching and having challenges there. But as soon as I sit down and I'm talking about your power and your, the core of who you are, your ability to be able to push through things, I start to all of a sudden feel this resistance, and within my body energetically there's an anxiousness that is present. So for some of you, you could have had deeply embedded within your bodies an anxiousness, and it's like a feeling of being unresolved in regards to being able to actually tap into your power and become your authentic selves. It feels like whatever it was that was blocking that, or kind of because it feels like a very stricturing energy, like a python when it wraps itself around someone, it's a stricture. That's how this feels. This energy feels like it's kind of had you like held tight. And maybe even within your physical bodies, you could have endured some physical ailments, diseases, illnesses, etc. And it's partly due to the fact that you haven't been able to stand in your true power as your authentic self. And it feels like the energy that Spirit was saying before starting the reading was that of like you showing extreme courage and strength to endure something that was very long suffering. So in that long suffering, it's almost like Spirit has brought you to this moment to where you're actually able to see regain clarity regarding who you are, and that's giving you, look, strength and power. This could have been a very mental battle for you, one that felt like you had no control. Okay, for a lot of you, you're taking that power back. The solar plexus chakra often is referred to as like our personal power or our willpower. It even says it on the card. But for me, the solar plexus is about the action that you take regarding the desires of your heart or who you are authentically. See, a lot of us tend to we may even figure out at some point, oh, this is what I like to do, but we don't actually want it to be out in the open or something that is visible to the rest of the world. For example, they're showing someone that may have been a part of or may be a part of the LGBTQ plus IA community, and many people within that community will stay hidden for years because of fear of being rejected by society. So for you, it could be that for you, but it also could be something in regards to you really being your authentic self without feeling like you need to hide behind some type of persona that really isn't you, for fear of being rejected or frowned upon. Okay, so something like that is coming through for you, Leos. Yeah, look at this. This has definitely been a long time coming, and I love this. This is beautiful because it is absolutely about you closing out. Look, you have the World at the bottom of the deck and the Five of Pentacles with the Magician underneath. So it's about closing out the idea that possibilities are limited. Okay, that's what I heard. There's an ending to limiting your potential. Give me just a second. I gotta write this down because I'll forget. So it's almost as if Spirit has been working with you behind the scenes to get you to tap into this frequency of power, of possibilities, of I'm hearing like just the word infinity that keeps replaying. They're saying infinity, infinity, infinity. For some of you, there's something about cycles here. Something about repetitive cycles that have kept you stuck and trapped in ineffective ways of processing, of coping, and of dealing with situations is what they're saying. So for some of you, you could have been very challenged with really loving the whole of who you are. That could have been brought on by, I keep seeing the Strength card and I keep hearing control. Something to do with maybe not being able to control your strength or feeling like you were weak. So one thing to highlight is, because you're a Leo, the lion, is obviously representative of Leos often. And in addition, the Strength card in tarot, it represents courage, strength, tenacity, endurance, right? The ability to, let me see if I can pull it up. Was it here somewhere? But the ability to be able to tame what seems untamable. So if you are a Leo, naturally it's going to be challenging for you to, like, one thing that you'll have to overcome in your life more often than not is having courage, having strength, anything that is representative of your sign. For me as a tarot reader, I think that those are the things that we are most challenged by in our lives. So for you, it would be standing up for yourself, having courage, actually standing out and not being ashamed to stand out, not being afraid to be unique, to be set apart, right? It's like if you look at the lion in the jungle, the king, the male, the masculine lions, they are comfortable being who they are. There's no concern or thought to them. I think that the male lions are lazy. They let the females do all the work, but that's just the way that it was created in nature. But I wanted to call this out in the card too, and you'll notice that this is the infinity symbol. So Spirit was showing that and saying cycles. But in the Strength card here, one thing that I think gets overlooked when people look at the Strength card is the fact that this woman is taming this lion not by her strength. it's not her strength that is not her physical strength, I should say. It's not her physical strength that's closing the lion's mouth, that's causing the lion to be managed or maintained by her. It's not that. It's the fact that she has a gentle, more of a quiet, if you really tune into the energy of this card, it's a very internal, quiet, less aggressive and outright energy, which is courage and strength at its finest. And I feel for a lot of you, you may have been extremely challenged with figuring out what true strength is. Now, I can give you my ideas of what strength and courage are, but honestly, this is going to be something that you are going to be most informed about. Okay, so I would absolutely recommend, I recommend this with all of my readings, that you use your intuition and allow, spirit to guide you into what the truth is for you. So for me, when I see this card and I read this and I connect this to your energy, it feels to me like spirit has had to bring you to a place of being able to softly show your strength. And that's actually where I personally believe your power comes from. That is your powerhouse. When we're able to transition, from feeling like we need to dominate externally everything around us. And obviously no shade, guys, but this is all signs. We all have challenges in our specific areas, okay? So this is not, you're not alone in this. But when we, especially considering, Leo, the sign of pride, right? Imagine how much harder it is for you to kill your pride than for another sign. I mean, these are areas where I believe that, if you study astrology, even just a little bit like I have, just a little bit of knowledge can take you really far. And it's because you'll start to recognize that the things that you see as weaknesses within you are actually your powerhouses. That's where you can tap into the energy and you're going to be most effective, and you're going to be able to, it's not like in a negative sense, but you're going to trample on all the other signs because you're going to have like a heightened awareness, a heightened sensitivity in that area. But we often look at, pride as being something negative. Well, if you don't have pride, then how are you going to take care of your children? Like, how are you going to rise up and say, no, we're going to do this. We're a proud family. We're a family that gets things done. Like, there's areas where you need pride. You need pride to be able to have confidence, to believe that you can do things, and then there's a negative side to it. So is everything else, right? Light and dark. But the point of this is just to say that I believe that spirit has taken you on a journey. Okay, and the journey has led you to yourself, to the power that is hidden and has been hidden within you. I think this power has been hidden in you almost like in an Akashic record type of way is how it's being shown to me, where this has been hidden in your energy for centuries, years, lifetimes, and it just hasn't been able to be accessed because the way to access it is through first this Two of Wands energy of making a decision. This requires you to be courageous. Okay? A decision of any kind requires courage, because you have to say, I'm going to weigh my options, right? And then on top of that, I'm going to choose this option knowing that the other option could have been better, right? There's always that questioning whenever you have a two. It's like, well, if I choose this, is this going to be the better option, or is this going to be the better option? And what I'm seeing here based on the cards that are being shown is that you chose yourself. That's what this Ace of Cups is about. So as you've been sitting in murky energy, confusing energy that's had you, like I said, feeling constricted and feeling trapped, as if you could not figure out or find your way out of a situation. This situation could be connected to someone else, but it feels very much connected to the core of who you are as a human being. And it's almost like there's this wake up call, this epiphany that kind of comes through this week, which is to choose yourself, to allow yourself to be a priority, to allow yourself to be limitless. Okay, that ending of the limiting ideas, thoughts, perspectives that you had, thinking that there's only really option A and B when there's a whole vast world out there, right? You notice that, like in this Two of Wands, there's two options here, but really what we miss is there's a third option that we miss because it looks smaller. But this is the whole world. These are just two wands. You know, it's like your perspective is shifting in this week to allow you to tap into the infinite possibilities that you naturally possess within you. You also, Leos, represent the sun. I'm going to put that there. And the sun card is representative of tapping into joy, fulfillment, satisfaction, allowing that inner child to be free to, challenge things, to question, what's going on? Who am I? Where am I going to go? What am I supposed to be doing? And it's also doing it with fun intentions, not being so serious. Sometimes that strength energy can feel very serious to me because it's almost as if she's extremely focused on maintaining her energy. And I feel that that's something that Spirit is speaking to you as well right now, to allow yourself to really sit in your body and find the purity of who you are as a human being. What about you is sincere? What about you is tapping into that gentle, sensitive side of yourself? Because that's, to me, where I think Spirit is telling you that you're going to find your powerhouse. This Ace of Cups is representative of receiving love from the divine and allowing it to pour into you. It's almost like, I remember back in the days at church, the pastors would say, receive vertically so that you can give horizontally. And this feels very much like that energy, but it feels like receive vertically so that you can continue to be poured into so that you are not lacking. Because for a lot of you, the reason why you've had to get to this space in life where you're making choices to choose yourself and to allow yourself to tap into the infinite possibilities that are accessible and available and have always been for you. The reason why I believe you've gotten to this space is because you've probably overgiven. When the Ace of Cups shows up, that to me shows that there was an emptiness that happened before this. You don't need to be refilled. This is the beginning of filling. You don't need to be refilled if you haven't been emptied. So for a lot of you, you have overgiven to others and that has depleted your tank. Now Spirit is saying, let me fill you up in an overflowing way without the limitations that you have persistently placed on what I can and can't do in your life. So now you're being opened up to infinite possibilities based on your decision to choose to allow yourself to tap into something new. I would recite to myself daily, just a recommendation that's being shared is to recite to yourself daily, the possibilities are infinite for me. I have infinite possibilities accessible to me. I am abundance. Whatever you want to say, find some affirmation that will allow you to tap into the energy of infinity, because that word keeps coming up for you, Leo. So this week, that's going to be significant for you. Again, this reading is going to be a little different, guys. I'm going to pull a couple of cards from here. These are cards and stickers and things that I've collected over the years. Okay, we're going to take those two, and then I'm going to take one more. This one. I can't see these, so... Oh, wow. These two were sticking out on top. I'm just going to take them. Okay, so reminder, there is no such thing as perfect. Oh my God, this is awesome, because this definitely feels like you have been beating yourself up. But again, so in order for you to be able to tap into your personal power, your willpower, and your powerhouse, you have to go through a phase of self-defeat and doubt, and that is ending. Okay, so some of these stickers may be affirmations for you, reminding yourself that there's no such thing as perfection, that Spirit is not asking you to be perfect. Spirit is asking you to allow, to receive, to open yourself up to new experiences, new opportunities, to not be so dead set on one way of being and thinking and feeling. Like I said, that's why Spirit said this here too, that you see these two wands. However, there's a world that he's holding in his hand, and we missed that in this card. So just be open to seeing things from a different perspective. It's kind of like Spirit showing me, like with me, for example, as a tarot readers tend to get very trapped in definitions based on what we've learned or studied in like tarot books, right? And the Rider-Waite is like the ideal or baseline for all tarot readings, right? Or most tarot readings. So when you learn the cards, you typically learn through the Rider-Waite tarot deck. But as a portal and as a conduit, I have to consistently pray, asking Spirit and my guides and my team to not allow me to be stuck and trapped in seeing these cards through one vision, through one lens. And Spirit is saying that that's essentially what is being asked of you, that you not see life through one lens, that you open yourself up and allow yourself to be open to see things from a different perspective. Because when we get trapped in one specific way of thinking, for example, if I look at this tarot card and I tell you, oh, the Two of Wands means this, then I would think that I'm imperfect if I saw that this world is here and that world represented the fact that there are infinite possibilities open. There's a whole nother option available and not just these two options. So it's a matter of just keeping your mind open to allowing. In addition, Spirit is bringing to my attention to just remind you to try not to be so hard on yourselves. You're doing the best that you can with what you know. So it doesn't matter at what age you get there. It doesn't matter at what time. It doesn't matter what year. The fact of the matter is that you're getting there. And it's not about anything specific. I think Spirit is saying that some of you may be beating yourselves up about things not being done in a certain time. Like maybe I'm not married. Maybe I don't have children. Maybe I don't have grandchildren. Maybe I don't have a house, a car, etc. And Spirit is saying that there's no perfect timing either. There's no such thing as perfect. Wherever you are is exactly where you're supposed to be. This is where you're supposed to be because this is the moment that you're receiving exactly what you've been praying for. So this is the perfect timing for you, okay? I'm doing the very best that I can. Yeah, lots of encouragement in regards to keeping yourself on track with where you have been and where you're going, okay? I won't give up. Oh my goodness, so many of these. And look, I can do this. Okay, Leos, put these on your mirrors in your bathrooms or something, okay? Don't allow yourself to operate in self-doubt and defeat, okay? This Strength card, if I were to reverse it, this Strength card would represent the energy of someone who wallows in self-doubt, who feels inadequate, who's insecure, unstable, someone who would feel as if they were incapable, right? Like, for example, the story of the what's his name? David in the Lion's Den. I'm like, I don't know why that just left my mind as it got there, but they're showing me that story. So it's like, if he would have said, I'm not going in that lion's den because I'm going to get eaten, then he would have gotten eaten as soon as he went in there. But he went into the lion's den knowing that he was protected and that he was safe. And that's what Spirit is asking of you, to go into this world and out of in this world and do the things that you do on a daily basis with the reminder of you are constantly being protected and you are exactly where you're supposed to be. I think a lot of you deal with a lot of mental energy, and I think it creates imbalances within you. And this happens to all of us, but it's almost like it creates an imbalance within your mind that allows you to walk in self-defeat and self-doubt. That's how the energy feels to me. Now you have the King of Swords, which I was like, wow, because that's what we saw when we first started the reading. Okay, and this King of Swords it's Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energy. You may have that in your chart. And you can just ignore this. In the fall, during Libra, within 2 weeks. There's no timing. I don't do timing readings because I don't I don't believe that we should be tapping into energy of knowing things at specific timings. I think that's for God to know and not us. Anyways, I'm going off on my tangent, but here, this energy could have affected your relationships is what's coming through very strongly. Is the energy that you've been sitting in where you've maybe not felt so strong in yourself as your person. I think that this has heavily affected your relationships. They don't have to be romantic. It could be at work, it could be at school, it could be at the house, it could be, wherever you go. But I think that it could be romantic, but I think no matter what, I feel like this energy is showing up to say that this has absolutely affected your relationships, and it's because you haven't given enough to yourself to where you have enough to give out. There's a disconnect there for sure, is what Spirit is saying for whoever this reading is for. Alrighty, so let's go into our next step, really a step, guys, but into the next part of the reading. And I have some charms. I've been collecting these for a while, and I'm going to just grab a few and then we will close out your reading. If you have headphones in or on, I would highly recommend muting them at this moment and or skipping past the shuffling part. Okay, guys, I would go on mute now. Alrighty, so let's see what we got. I have a little hands here. Wow, look, you have the 8 of Cups. I hope you can see that. These are so small. And then you have the King of Wands. Wow, I love this energy because this is showing up as you walking towards courage, walking towards believing in yourself, no longer allowing yourself to sit in the energy of this 8 of Cups where you're sitting there just wishing and hoping. The 8 of Cups energy is walking towards greater. And this is exactly what you're doing. You're walking towards greater by tapping into your energy of being able to stand in your power. This King of Wands goes after what he desires. He's not going to sit around and wait for something to show up for him. He's going to go and get it. And that's what you're doing this week and moving forward, Leos, is you're going to receive what it is that you desire because you're realizing that you have been holding yourself back. This caution, slippery when wet energy, this is showing up to show that you are no longer going to allow yourself to be held back by cautionary energy. What this means is that for some of you, you could have been so worried, scared, or concerned that things may not actually pan out the way that you desire, that showed up for you as resistance, okay? And what you're doing is you're releasing that. You're trying to see things from a higher level perspective. You've been offered this opportunity, which is somehow coming in this week, where you're seeing that things can be different, right? Again, that goes back to that epiphany I was seeing earlier. You're seeing that things can be different, and you're going to do whatever you can to go after those things, rather than allowing yourself to sit in this sulking energy where the 8 of Cups just says, I wish, or shoulda, coulda, woulda. You're coming out of that, okay? So these are little books here. I cannot read them. I have old eyes, so I'm going to use my magnifying glass. Hopefully you can see them. So this first book out is The Cruel Prince. This is very interesting. This is almost like you have some type of... it's like it's interesting because it's like you have life that has been like breath, like I want to say breathe, but that's not right. So it's life that has been breathed out of death, okay? And not physically. For some of you that could have been, but not physically is how it's being shown. It's being shown spiritually, metaphorically as where things were dead, they're now coming back for you. Okay? And again, that I think Spirit said earlier, resurrection or rebirth, something like that for you. And that's what that energy is showing up as. Okay, now I've read this before, so I know what this one is. It's a soul as cold as frost. And it's the unthawing of, again, this is absolutely showing up as being able to taken energy in you that was maybe depleting and making you even feel cold towards yourself. Now things are starting to warm up. I'm seeing the sun in my mind's eye. So things are starting to warm up to where you're now able to pour into yourself. And that is like, I'm hearing this term, and it says, or phrase, it says, tears are ice melting off of your heart. And that's what I was hearing when that book got pulled. Wow, I can see this one. Imagine me. Wow. For some of you, you could really be focusing and trusting your third eye chakra to allow yourself to be able to envision the life that you desire. It's almost like you've created this vision in your mind of where you want to go, and you're going to stick to it, come even with risk, okay? You're willing to take the risk because you recognize that that's the only possibility of you getting there. It's also something about you recognizing how strong you truly are, where you may have considered yourself to be very weak in the past. Okay, this one, I think it says shut out, but I'm going to see. Yeah, shut out. This is interesting. Okay, I know I keep saying that, guys. It's just so fascinating to me how Spirit just gives me the downloads when I see the books. But that shut out is almost like you're shutting out any energies that prevent you from, shutting out any energies that keep you in that death energy. When I say death, again, it's not physical. It's an energy of feeling like you have no life, okay? Feeling lifeless, if that makes any sense. That's how it's being shown to me. And the feeling lifeless is not like you're not living and breathing. It's like I don't feel like I have a life or much to enjoy in life, right? I'm not enjoying and rejoicing and celebrating the life that I'm living. And you're choosing to shut it out. That could have something to do with romantic partnerships, because I do see a couple here. But the interesting thing is that they're leaving each other. It's almost like one is departing. So for some of you, could be departing or leaving a loved one. It doesn't have to be a romantic partnership, but you could be departing or leaving a loved one in order to keep yourself in the energy of feeling alive, okay? I think this says Clash of Kings. Let's see. Yeah, Clash of Kings. And it's like a deer, a staff, with a boat in the middle that is selling. Okay. So this Clash of Kings energy is showing up as you, it's very interesting. I'm hearing like War of the Titans. I don't even know what that is, but this feels like the crashes. Okay, so how can I explain this? It's like life has. Imagine you are a boat. Okay, so metaphorically, you're a boat, and you have gone through this tumultuous water where waves have, almost tipped you over, knocked you down, and it was like almost like a spiritual war that you felt like you had been enduring against another party. And it's the winning of that. Like, here is the crash in that, where there's two boats floating towards each other. It's you and an opponent, and this opponent has done whatever it could to cause the waves to knock you down and tip you over, and it just hasn't been successful. Now there's a crash that is occurring metaphorically, spiritually, that is getting you to this place. This could have already happened as well. For some of you, that could be a breakup, a divorce, a separation, a loss of some type, right? A mental breakdown even for some of you. But something happened that caused this crash, okay? And in that crash, that's how this energy is now being burst open to where you can now be free to explore the new identity. It's almost like the crash already existed. We've already cleaned everything up. Now it's time to start afresh and anew. Because they're showing me Noah's Ark and how when the dove was sent out, the dove came back with an olive branch. So it's like the rain and the storm, the chaos, the conflict has already occurred in your life. Now it's time for that rainbow. It's time for those promises that God has given and offered to you to be activated in your life. Wow, that's beautiful. Let's see. I have no idea what this is. Oh, this says fangirl. Okay, this says fangirl. Hope you guys can see these. So for some of you, this is absolutely showing up as receiving communication in regards to something. Some of you could have a love offer being sent to you via some type of messaging system. That could be a DM, that could be a text, a letter, something like that. But it's almost as if there's energy that's coming towards you in this new that is absolutely connected to some type of love or crush, something like that. Okay, so communication is definitely on the menu with that energy showing up. And then Stuart Little, I think that says Stuart Little. There's something about details, guys. There's something they're showing me, something about details that you're going to want to pay close attention to as you move forward, okay? There are details that you may be overlooking or details that you may be too focused on. It's too focused on. I heard that loud and clear. You're focused on too many little details, and Spirit is trying to open you up to new possibilities. Okay, so try to not focus so much on the little details that maybe are minute and don't matter. Ask your guides. That's what they're telling me. Ask your guides to assist and support you in what you should and shouldn't pay attention to. But there's something in that about details and not tending to so many of those. I think this says as good as dead. That's interesting. This as good as dead energy is showing up as like wrapping up. It's like a wrapping up of a cycle is how this is being shown. Like this is as good as dead. There's nothing that this can offer me anymore. So again, I don't know if that's connected to a person or a situation, but it's almost essentially like showing like the energy of departing from something, a mindset, an idea, a thought, a perspective. There's something that you're departing from this week because it's the energy of something that is as good as dead, okay? I think this says eclipse. Wow, okay, that's really small. I'll pull out my magnifying glass, but that's the card or the book there. I want to call these cards. They look like little cards. Don't ask me why I bought these, guys, but they're so cute to me. Eclipse. This is interesting. Eclipse season could be significant for you. Okay, so there's something in regards to passion rising and eclipsing, and I don't know exactly what that means, but this could be passion within you, passion rising and then eclipsing. Oh, okay. I don't know if this is like how or what an eclipse is, but this is how this is being shown to me. It's like something could go up and then it just levels out. It's like, no, it's not really that. So I don't know if this has to do with maybe the momentum, because that's how it feels. Okay, maybe the momentum, maybe you go for it, you're all in, and then you just like, oh, I'm over this. And if that's the case, Spirit is saying to stick with it. Again, that King of Wands goes after what he desires, and he doesn't quit until he gets it. So for a lot of you, Spirit could be advising you to, on your path to releasing the idea that you're limited in what you can and can't have. Spirit is also asking you to stick to it. Have some stick-to-itedness to ensure that you get there, reminding yourself of how deserving and how worthy you are, and then allowing Spirit to pour into you. Because Spirit is saying just to not allow yourself to get into a state where you're bored or feeling like, oh, nothing's actually happening, and then you kind of crash out. Just allow yourself to sit in the energy of trusting that you are on the right path and things are working out for you. Wow, Leos, this is very interesting. I hope that this resonates with you. If so, feel free to drop a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I thank you guys for being present. Thank you for being here. I hope you have an amazing week. Happy New Year, and I'll see you next. Bye.